Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Michael McMillan, President and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis.
Thank you. Well, good evening. It is truly a pleasure to welcome you all here tonight. I want to thank you for your support of the Urban League and our mission, our goals, and our objectives. I want us all to have a moment of silence for the death of the head table. For those of you who have been coming to the Urban League dinner, you know that we had the biggest head table in the history of humankind. And that has ended tonight. So for all of you who were at the head table, I apologize to you. We honor you, we respect you, we thank you for your service. But the Hyatt told us you can either have a 3-tiered head table or you will not have 1,000 people. You have to choose. So we chose the 1,000+ people, and I want to acknowledge all of the people that thought they should have been at the head table, needed to be at the head table, and are at an imaginary head table right now. We acknowledge you. We thank you. So we thank you for the transition. You know, it's been mentioned before and they have been acknowledged, but in my opinion, we have the best board of directors of any not-for-profit in the entire St. Louis region. And I would like to ask our chairman, Richard Miles, our incoming chairman, Keith Williamson, and all of the members of the board of directors to please stand so that you can be acknowledged. Thank you for your service and your commitment to the community, making a difference, helping others, giving back. I would also like to thank and acknowledge all of the members of the Whitney Young Society that are here, which is our leadership giving society. Please stand. You have done a tremendous amount to assist the agency over the past 4 years with your contributions and all of your efforts to aid the agency. And then I'd also like to have the members of the Guild, the Young Professionals, and the Federation of Block Units, and our general members. So if all of you would please stand, we must acknowledge you because our Guild, our Young Professionals, and our Federation work hard to help this agency, and we wouldn't be who we are without you. And of course, I want to thank our title sponsors for tonight, Worldwide Technology and Centene Corporation, who have done this for the past 3 years, along with our other title sponsors, Ameren and Anheuser-Busch. Please join me in a round of applause for them. Our dinner committee co-chairs, Emily Pitts and Keith Williamson, please stand. I want to acknowledge you both for your hard work on making sure tonight's event was a tremendous success. And of course, many of you know that I am blessed to have what I consider to be the best mother that I could possibly have in the world myself. As Rita McMillan, I would like to ask her to please stand. Thank you so much for everything that you have done and always do. And of course, we want to thank the illustrious, the magnanimous, the bold, the beautiful, the competent, the qualified, the capable Judge Glenda Hatchett for being here with us tonight from Atlanta to be our keynote speaker. Thank you so much. And our 2 honorees tonight. You could not, in my opinion, have a better combination than these 2 gentlemen who are leaders in their field, having taken Centene from a $40 million corporation to a $40 billion corporation, providing thousands of jobs and economic opportunity here in St. Louis, but above and beyond that, being a leader in charitable, civic, and philanthropic gifts throughout this region and this nation. So having Michael Neidorff as an honoree And also for the first time in the 107-year history of the National Urban League, having the chairman of the board of directors here in St. Louis is something that we are very fortunate to have. So thank you, Mr. Neidorff, for all of your service and commitment to the Urban League here in St. Louis and nationally. And David Stewart, who has, by all leaps and bounds, exceeded any and every minority-owned business history in this country with a $9.2 billion corporation located right here in St. Louis. And just to give you a frame of reference, when I was first introduced to the Urban League by my late uncle, Colonel Gates, he was in the top 100 of the black-owned companies in the United States with an annual revenue of $15 million. So to go from $15 million to $9.2 billion under the leadership of David Stewart is a remarkable thing. That's why his book is called Doing Business by the Good Book. So David, thank you so much for all that you do for everyone here in St. Louis. We love and appreciate both of you. At the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, our mission continues to be to empower African Americans and others throughout the region in securing economic self-reliance, social equality, and civil rights. Last year, the Urban League, as you heard in our video, served nearly 93,000 people with almost 30 programs in 12 locations with 225 staff. And the agency recently underwent an affiliate assessment, as you heard from our national president. And for the third and only time in the Urban League's history, an affiliate received its 5-star rating again to keep us as the #1 Urban League in the United States because of the support from people in this community. But we would not have received that first 5-star rating without the leadership of my predecessor, James Buford, who is here tonight. Jim, please stand. In Ferguson, as you know, we have worked hard to create social service and workforce development projects to help restore the vital part of our community. This summer, we look forward to opening the long-awaited Ferguson Community Empowerment Center at the site of the burned-down Quick Trip, where we are taking a tragedy and turning it into a triumph. And it is literally a phoenix rising out of the ashes. And this almost $5 million project would not have happened without so many people that helped contribute to make sure that the building is completely paid for with no mortgage. So Pastor Jones, we don't have to have a mortgage burning ceremony, but we do have to say thank you, because we would not have been able to do this without the support of Quick Trip, the Salvation Army of Greater St. Louis County government, the U.S. Bank, Jack Taylor and the Taylor Family Foundation, TIAA, Centene, Ameren, Edward Jones, Emerson, Civic Progress, the Regional Business Council, Altria, Starbucks, the Greater St. Louis Community Foundation, Lauren Tanner, and the Faring Family Foundation. Please give them all a round of applause and thanks for their hard work and dedication to make sure that this is a reality. And I also want to recognize our social service partners that are in the building with us. We realize that at the Urban League, we cannot solve all of the problems in this community by ourselves. So we need to work in a more collaborative fashion with other not-for-profits. So there are 5 other not-for-profits that will be in the Ferguson Community Empowerment Center with us. And the one that joined with us and said, we want to help build the center, was the Salvation Army. And the Salvation Army is over 150 years old, and the Urban League is over 100 years old. So combined in our over 250-year history, we had never, ever co-owned a facility. So I would like to ask Colonel Jennings and all of the staff from the Salvation Army and our other not-for-profit partners in the building to please stand. From Provident, Better Family Life, the University of Missouri Extension Program, and the Lutheran Church of Missouri Synod. Thank you for all that you have done to assist us in this groundbreaking effort in Ferguson. And thanks to the support of Ferguson residents, we will soon have many of the services that are needed, but of course there is much more that has to be done. I want to thank the staff of the Save Our Sons program, who is here tonight, along with some of the graduates of the program, as they have helped 350 African American men who did not have employment to find meaningful jobs to take care of themselves and their families. I'd like to ask all of the guests from Save Our Sons to please stand. In addition, the Urban League is also partnered with Starbucks' brand new Ferguson location under the leadership of Cordell Lewis, who was just at the national headquarters and speaking before the board of directors, to provide free on-site customer service training to North St. Louis County residents. In an effort to address food insecurity and hunger among children who lack access to healthy meals during the summer, the Urban League partnered with the state of Missouri and Arches to administer the Summer Electronic Benefit Transfer Program for children, and thanks to these efforts, the Ferguson community redeemed 90% of their funding with local grocers, which is an estimated $270,000 that families use to purchase healthy food items for their children during the summer. And one of our stellar volunteers, which the Urban League is fortunate enough to have thousands, is here with us tonight that I want to recognize because he has in the past year done so much for so many people and has never ever asked for any credit, and that's Mr. Roy Gillespie. I'd like to ask him to please stand. Roy, you have really made a difference in the lives of so many people. We thank you for all that you have done and continue to do and the difference that you have been making. For several years, residents of the St. Clair County and East St. Louis communities suffered from a lack of employment services being provided in their neighborhoods. Last year, thanks to a sponsorship from Boeing, the Urban League expanded its employment services into the Metro East area, and in less than a year, over 150 residents of East St. Louis and St. Clair County received jobs on the spot. So we are grateful to Boeing for that partnership, and we want to continue and expand it. In addition, of course, one of the programs that the Urban League has been associated with for so many years is heating assistance for those who are in need. And we have the official contract from the federal government to administer that program in the city and in Wellston, where we help almost 20,000 people. But sometimes there are gaps in the actual federal funding. And Heat Up St. Louis steps in and makes the difference by contributing over $300,000 to help this region. And I'd like to ask Gentry Trotter to please stand, because he does more for energy assistance than anyone in the entire region. And as Judge Hatchett and Naima were here, and they heard me rattling off that Gentry does that, and he had his camera, and he's taking pictures, and he's getting people in his picture and out of his picture, and he's doing his newspaper work. They said, we've never seen anything like this. And I said, and you never will again. Gentry has a lot of irons in the fire, but we thank you because you make a huge difference in the lives of people with the Urban League and so many different agencies. The federal government last year, for the first time in our history, also gave the Urban League its own contracts for Head Start to the tune of $7.7 million for 5 years so that we can educate early Head Start and Head Start students all day in all of our facilities, and we're truly grateful for that. You know, as we look towards the future, Dr. King has many quotes that we all know and love, but one quote is that when he said, the time is always right to do what is right. And that time is now. There has never been a time in my lifetime that we have not seen the fact that the work of the Urban League is essential to the success of this region and this nation. Because we were created to bridge the gap between whites and blacks and bring all races together to work for the common benefit of those that are in need. So our work is just as important as it was 99 years ago when we were founded after the East St. Louis race riots. And we must continue that same work and that same mission today. And we will do that July 26th through the 29th when we host the National Urban League Convention to show America the better side of St. Louis. They saw the worst on the news in 2014. But now they will get a chance to see the $30 million Centene facility that was built in Ferguson with 250 high-paying, quality jobs, helping people in the community with 90+% of the people from the entire Ferguson and North County community receiving the jobs. And the facility itself being constructed with a very high percentage of minority and female companies. They will see our new center and our collaborative model. They will see the new Starbucks, the new AT&T, the fact that we are working together to rebuild West Florissant, and they will see a new face in government. Prior to what happened in Ferguson, the highest ranking African American officer in 120 years in the city of Ferguson was a sergeant. And now there's an African American police chief. And half of the city council is African American. And the city manager is African American. And the judge has been African American. So we are working towards a more inclusive society so that we can be that shining light that we all want to be for our nation. And as we look to the Save Our Cities Education, Jobs, and Justice Conference, with the help of our title sponsors, once again on a national basis, Centene and worldwide, you will see that St. Louis is going to shine in a way that it never has before in terms of the national stage in civil rights. And the person who actually gets the credit for this is Kitty Ratcliffe, the head of the CVC. When people ask me, who is the most important person in your life? I said, for the past year and a half, it's Kitty Ratcliffe, because we are working on this convention every single day to make sure that it is a success, because we want St. Louis to shine, and we will shine. The convention is actually 4 months from today. We are needing to mobilize 500 to 1,000 volunteers. We have a very large fundraising request that we have been made to many different community partners and corporations and other entities, and I believe that we will meet all of them and we will show this country the better side of St. Louis. And as we are on this roadmap to recovery and diversity and opportunity and inclusion, next year the Urban League will celebrate its centennial in this region. So in 2018, we will be 100 years old. And we will celebrate that in a significant fashion to bring about the type of recognition that we want for our entire community. And when we ask ourselves the question of, have we met our goals yet? And is this society the inclusive one that we hope for it to be? We are making progress, but we are not there yet. We have more work to do. And that is the work of the Urban League. And that is what we wish to thank all of you for supporting and ask for you to continue to support, because we have to honor the life and legacy of people like Frankie Freeman, who are here tonight, who is 100 years old. And that all of her work was not in vain, that her work was not something that would be dismissed or no longer be carried on, but that we in this generation and those to come will continue that work until the job is done. So I encourage all of you in this room tonight to invest in the diversity of the community by lending your time, talent, and treasure to support the Urban League. On your tables, there are membership applications, Whitney Young applications, and volunteer applications so that you can become involved in the agency in any way you see fit. As a member, to support us as a volunteer, to help with the food bank, with Head Start, to read to the children, to contribute $100,000, whatever you want to do. We appreciate your support because we wouldn't be the #1 urban league in the country without that. And, as we look towards the future, these are also challenging times. The federal budget that has been presented to the Congress would eliminate $5 million from the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis's budget and 20 to 25,000 clients. So we, quite frankly, cannot afford to have that budget become reality. We have to work to make sure that our representatives know that we must still help the least of these. There would be no more energy assistance, no more weatherization, no more homelessness prevention, no more rental assistance, and no more foreclosure prevention. So we must work together to make sure that those in our community that need our help the most are able to receive that help from the government and from the Urban League and from our partners in the corporate community. But I challenge you to become involved and to help this organization fulfill its mission. You saw Will Donlow in the video tonight, and I'm going to ask him to join me on stage. And when you see part of Will's story, you get to understand what the Urban League is really all about. Will came to the Urban League. He was in need of help. He wanted to get a job. He was trying to take care of his children, and he was in between work, and it had taken him some time to actually find a good job. So he came to us in the Save Our Sons program, and he asked for assistance. Please give him a round of applause as he comes. And to show you how dedicated he was, he caught the bus every single day with his son. And he came to every single Save Our Sons class, was on time, and stayed late. And our staff at the Urban League babysat his son. Quenisha took care of his son while he was in the class. And he went through that class, and he succeeded. And he got a job. And then, not only did he get a job, but he got a promotion. And now he makes over $20 an hour working in the IT industry and has been hired to work on the Ferguson building by our IT consultant. So that is coming full circle for what the Urban League is all about. And his father got his job through the Urban League. So he is a legacy client of the Urban League coming full circle. So that is what you are supporting tonight, is the transformation of lives and helping people to make a difference in this community. Because we need all of you in order to help more Wills, to make that difference in people's lives. And when I was in St. Louis University's Jesuit philosophy class, one of the priests used to tell us all the time that the 3 most important days in your life are when you were born, when you die, and the day that you realize what your purpose is on this earth. And our purpose is to help people like Will transform their lives. And I join in the effort that the Urban League has across this country to say that we will do more than we have ever done to be a better organization, to be worthy of your support. Tonight, when you leave, Urban League staff will be around the room for any of you that wish to turn in membership applications, Whitney Young applications, or volunteer cards. And together, we will make St. Louis everything that it can be. God bless each and every one of you, and thank you for your support.